I never thought the man who raised me would look me in the eyes and call me a dying, worthless boy. But that's exactly what my father did, right there in the cold hospital hallway, with the smell of antiseptic burning my nose and my body already shutting down. My name is Liam Kane. I'm 26 years old, or at least I was trying to be. For most of my life, I believed I was just a disappointment in my father's house. He was a hard man, Robert Kane, a former Marine who ran our family like it was boot camp. No excuses, no weakness, and definitely no sons who got sick. I grew up in a small town outside Chicago where people still waved flags on their porches and talked about duty like it was religion. My mother passed when I was 9. After that, it was just me and Dad. He never hugged me, never said he was proud. Every report card, every sports game, every time I fell short, he'd shake his head and mutter, "You're soft, Liam. The world's gonna eat you alive." I tried to prove him wrong. I worked 2 jobs while going to community college, studying engineering at night. I kept my head down and my mouth shut, but the universe had other plans.
It started with headaches, then the bruises that wouldn't go away, then the nosebleeds that soaked through towels. By the time I collapsed at work, my blood counts had crashed. Acute aplastic anemia. My bone marrow had stopped producing blood cells. Without a transplant or aggressive treatment, I was dying, slowly, painfully. They rushed me to the hospital in the city. That's when everything shattered. I remember lying in that sterile bed, wires and tubes coming out of me like I was already half machine. My father stormed in after the doctor left. His face was red, jaw tight like it always got when he was disgusted. "You're telling me this kid needs some fancy bone marrow transplant?" he barked at the doctor, not even looking at me. What the hell did he do to himself? The doctor tried to explain it was likely genetic or environmental, nothing I caused. Dad cut him off. "He's just a dying, worthless boy," he spat, loud enough for the entire floor to hear. "Always has been, always will be. I'm not wasting my life or my money on this. I've got my own health to worry about." I felt the words hit harder than any fever. My own father, the man who was supposed to protect me. He turned and walked out without another glance. No, hang in there. No, we'll figure this out. Just the echo of his boots down the hallway and the sound of my monitor beeping like it was counting down what little time I had left.
I lay there, staring at the ceiling, tears burning my eyes. Broken, completely shattered. I had no one, no siblings, no close friends who could step up. The few relatives we had made excuses. "We're praying for you, Liam," they said. "Prayers don't donate marrow." But what I didn't know that day was that the universe was already moving pieces I couldn't see, that somewhere out there a man I had never met was about to walk into my life and change everything with a single decision. In the weeks that followed, I fought alone. The treatments were brutal. Chemo, transfusions, constant infections. My body was betraying me. And every time I closed my eyes, I heard my father's voice, "Worthless boy." That's when Emily Carter walked into my room. She was my night shift nurse. Early 30s, kind green eyes, soft brown hair she kept pulled back in a ponytail. Emily had this calm presence that made the beeping machines feel less terrifying. She'd sit with me during the long hours when the pain kept me awake, talking about everything and nothing.
"You're stronger than you think, Liam," she'd say, checking my IV. "I've seen people come back from worse. Don't let one man's words define your fight." She became my only light in that dark place. She brought me books, snuck in better food, even held my hand when the fever spiked and I thought I was slipping away. For the first time, someone made me feel like I wasn't worthless, like maybe I still had a future worth fighting for. But even Emily couldn't protect me from the next blow. The isolation ate at me like the disease itself. Days blurred into nights. I lost weight, my hair thinned. I could barely walk to the bathroom without help. And every few days, my father would show up, not to support me, but to remind me why I didn't deserve to live. One afternoon, he stormed in while Emily was changing my bandages. He looked at her, then at me, and sneered. "You got yourself a little girlfriend now? Nurse pitying the dying boy? Pathetic." Emily tried to stay professional, but I saw her flinch. "Mr. Kane, your son is very sick. He needs family right now." "Family?" Dad laughed, cold and sharp. "This isn't my blood. Never felt like it. Always knew something was off with him. Weak. Just like his mother's side. I'm done pretending." Those words landed like grenades. Not my blood? What did that even mean? I was too weak to ask. He left again, slamming the door.
That night, the betrayal cut deeper than I thought possible. Emily stayed late, sitting beside my bed in the dim light. "I overheard some things from the staff," she whispered. "Your father, he's been asking about insurance, about how much this is costing him. He's trying to have you transferred to a cheaper facility, one that won't do the full transplant protocol." I stared at her, shattered. The man who raised me was trying to let me die to save money. Abandoned, exposed. My whole life felt like a lie. "Why?" I choked out. "What did I ever do to him?" Emily squeezed my hand. "Some people can't handle weakness because it reminds them of their own. But you're not weak, Liam. You're still here fighting." Her words kept me going through the worst nights. When infections raged and I hallucinated from the meds, Emily was there.
She told me stories about her own struggles, losing her brother young, working her way through nursing school. She made me laugh for the first time in months. Slowly, something shifted inside me. From broken to quietly determined, I started visualizing walking out of this hospital, getting strong again, proving every cruel word wrong. But the universe wasn't done testing me. One evening, Emily didn't show up for her shift. Another nurse told me she had requested a transfer to days. When I finally saw her again, she looked guilty, eyes avoiding mine. "I can't do this anymore, Liam," she said softly outside my room. "I've crossed lines, getting too attached. The hospital is watching, and your father, he threatened to complain about me, said I was unprofessional. I need this job. I'm sorry." She walked away. The one person who had shown me kindness abandoned me too. I felt destroyed all over again. Alone in that room, I cried for the boy I used to be, the one who still believed fathers protected their sons and good people stayed. The transformation was slow and painful. I stopped waiting for rescue. I started asking the doctors every question, researched my condition on the tablet they gave me, pushed through physical therapy even when my body screamed. I whispered to myself in the dark, "I am not worthless. I will survive this." But my blood type was rare. Finding a donor match felt impossible. The waiting list was long. My father had already signed papers limiting aggressive care. I was slipping away again. Then came the day everything changed forever. A tall, imposing man in a crisp Navy uniform appeared at my door, 4 stars on his shoulders. Admiral James Harlan. He looked like he'd stepped out of a war movie. Silver hair, steel blue eyes, posture like iron. He carried the kind of presence that made nurses straighten up. "I'm here for Liam Kane," he said, voice deep and commanding. The doctor looked stunned. "Admiral, we weren't expecting." "I've been tested. I'm a match, a perfect one. I'm donating bone marrow and blood today, whatever he needs." I stared at him, confused. "Sir, I don't know you." He stepped closer, eyes softening just a fraction. "You will, son. You will." They prepped me immediately. As I lay there waiting for the procedure,
Admiral Harlan sat beside my bed in his uniform, looking out the window like he was scanning for threats. "He served with your mother's first husband," he said quietly. "She was married to a good man before she met Robert Kane. That man was my best friend. He died overseas. Your mother was pregnant with you when it happened. Robert, he married her knowing the truth, but he never accepted it. He resented you from the day you were born because you weren't his blood. He made her promise never to tell you." The room spun. Everything clicked into place. The coldness, the resentment, the "not my blood" comment. My whole life had been built on a lie. Robert Kane had raised me out of obligation, then punished me for it every single day. "I stayed away because I thought it was best for you," the Admiral continued, voice thick with regret. "I was deployed constantly, special operations. But when I heard through old contacts that you were dying and Robert was refusing to help, I came as fast as I could. My marrow is compatible because you carry my blood, Liam, my DNA." Tears streamed down my face as they wheeled me in. This stranger, this hero, was giving his own blood, his own marrow, to save a son he barely knew, while the man I called father had spat on me and walked away. The procedure was long. When I woke up, the Admiral was still there, looking exhausted but steady. "You're going to make it," he said, "and I'm not going anywhere this time." News of the Admiral's involvement spread fast. Robert Kane showed up one last time, furious, demanding to know why a 4-star officer was involved. When the truth came out in front of witnesses, doctors, nurses, even hospital administrators, his face went pale. "You're not my father," I said, voice stronger than it had been in months. "You never were. You let me suffer. You called me worthless, while my real father crossed the country to give me his blood. Get out." He tried to argue, to threaten, but the Admiral stepped forward, calm and authoritative. "Mr. Kane, you have 2 choices. Leave quietly, or I make sure every military contact, every veteran organization, and every person in this town knows exactly what kind of man you are. A man who abandoned a dying boy who carried another man's blood." Robert left broken. No more bluster. Just a shattered old man realizing his cruelty had cost him everything. He faded from my life after that. Last I heard, he was living alone, isolated by the same coldness he had shown me. My recovery was miraculous. With the Admiral, my father, by my side, I grew stronger every day. Emily even reached out later, apologizing, but I had already moved on. Real support doesn't run when things get hard. Today, I stand tall. I finished my degree. I work in engineering for a defense contractor, building systems that protect the people who serve, like my real father did. Admiral James Harlan and I spend time together when he's stateside. We fish, we talk about my mother, we heal. If there's one thing this nightmare taught me, it's this: blood doesn't lie. Family isn't always the one who raises you. It's the one who shows up when you're dying and gives everything to save you. Never let anyone convince you that you're worthless. Your worth isn't decided by cruel words or closed hearts. It's proven in the quiet moments when real love chooses to fight for you. To anyone listening who feels broken, abandoned, or dying inside, keep fighting. The right person, the right truth, the right blood might be closer than you think. And when it comes, it will change everything. This is Liam Kane, and my story is far from over. If this story touched your heart, don't ignore it. Like this video, share it with someone who needs strength, and subscribe for more stories that remind you who you really are. Because your worth was never theirs to decide. Stay strong. I'll see you in the next one.